Hi, this is Pokemaddie, and welcome to my very first challenge video. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be beating Pokemon Emerald but with only one type. And how I decided it is this wheel right here. I spun it and I got a ground type. And I know what you're thinking. Well, now you can use a Mudkip. I cannot use a Mudkip. Mudkip is a water type. And he evolves into a ground type, but I can only use ground types all throughout the evolutions. So I'm going to start with the Sandshrew because it's a ground type and nothing else. So the rules of this challenge are all the Pokemon must be ground types, and the Pokemon can be more than one type, but it has to be ground throughout all of its evolutions. And with that being said, let's get started! So we start off with Professor Birch, and then we get to pick our gender and our name, and I'm just gonna go with my middle name, Anne, because why not? So we start off in the moving truck, and then after that we talk to our mom, then we go inside, change the clock, go talk to our neighbor, and then after that, we finally get to go to the bag and pick our Pokemon, which is gonna be Sandshrew. After that, we get our very first Pokemon battle with a Zigzagoon. And this battle was really easy because I know the move Scratch, and Scratch is a little bit better than Tackle in my opinion, so we take him down in 3 hits, and that's that. After that, we talk to Professor Elm, and then finally get to nickname our Sandshrew. And I will say I only nicknamed half of the Pokemon that I got because I forgot, so I just named this one Work, because he works for me. It's kind of funny. But anyway, I head off to where Brennan is, and then we have our Pokemon battle, and he picked his Torchic, and I just used Scratch on it a bunch of times, and he kept using Growl, just kind of a back and forth between Growl and Scratch, and then I ended up getting him with only half my health left, which is really good. Then we talked to Birch for the very last time, and then we're off on our Pokemon journey, and I just go to the next town, go to the next route, and then talk to my dad. And then he talks to Wally, and Wally's like, yo, I need a Pokemon. And then we go, and then he runs into a 4% catch rate, which I've never really understood, but then we catch him, then go back to the dad's, and then finally we get to go to our very first gym. We go to Petalbrook Forest, and then after that we fight Team Aqua, which this battle's pretty easy even though most of my health is gone because I just didn't bother redoing it. So then we finally get to catch our very first ground type Pokemon, which is an Nincada. And a Nincada actually does not evolve into a ground type. He evolves into a flying and a bug type. So I have to keep Nincada and Nincada or I won't be able to use him anymore. So that's what I do, and then I go off, and then I end up training both Work and my Nincada a lot more, and then I try my hand at the gym, which goes extremely poorly because none of my moves are really effective towards like the Geodude or the Nosepass. So what I ended up doing is I trained for about 45 minutes, and I realized I need to use Leech Life as much as I can, and I also need to use Sand Attack, so I limit the amount of moves that my the gym leader can do. And that strategy does work for me, but it takes a long time. And as you can see here, I managed to take out the first Geodude, but the second Geodude, you can see I used a crap ton of Sand Attacks until I couldn't use them anymore, and then I slowly took away his HP with Leech Life. And then she kept using potions, which was really inconvenient, but I managed to take out the Geodude as well, with not much damage. And then I do the exact same thing with the Nosepass, use as many Sand Attacks as I could, still got a few moves in on me, but I managed to willow away his health at least a little bit. And then he also used a potion, so that didn't help, but when I took out Work, I managed to get him all done. After that, I went to the cave and battled Team Aqua again, and after 3 scratches, he was done. So after that, I went to the old man, and he took us to the next town, where we get our third Pokemon, which is a Geodude. Which, Geodude's going to be really helpful in this run because he knows Magnitude at a very low level. He doesn't know it yet, we're going to have to train a little bit, but it's going to really help us in the long run. And after I catch him, I decide, hey, why not try the gym? And it's just as bad as the first time. All the moves that we have are not effective towards any of the Pokemon that this gym leader has. So it looks like we're gonna have to try the same strategy that we tried in the first gym, which is use so many Sand Attacks that we can't use them anymore, and then use Fury Attack or Leech Life for the rest of the gym. But what sucks is I lose PP on that very easy. So I'm gonna have to strategize here, which means I'm gonna have to do more training again, because as you can see, I'm getting my ass kicked here. So after a lot more grinding, I go back to the gym and try out the strategy, which I tried a few times actually, but here is my final attempt. So as you can see, I am pretty much spamming Sand Attack and he's using Bulk Up, but I just hope that the attack misses, which it doesn't, but it doesn't really affect me that much. So after that I use Fury Swipes, and I know I said Fury Attack, I'm sorry about that. So I used a lot of Fury Swipe, but then he uses a Super Potion, which doesn't help our case. And as you can see, I am slowly running out of PP, which I only have 4 left here, but then I finally get him fainted. After that, I use Sand Attack again until he can't hurt us. I still don't understand that, but it happens. So after that, I use a whole lot of Leech Life again and Fury Swipes. And I use the Fury Swipes until I basically run out of it. And then I just spam Leech Life over and over. And he can't hurt me. I don't know why. And we gained a little bit of experience. Don't know why. And then after that, we ended up poisoning this Pokemon because I tried the strategy of using Poison Sting, which only poisons like a small amount of time. And I actually managed to do it this time, which that's what I wanted to do. Because Sand Attack doesn't really work very well on this one. I don't know why, but it doesn't, so I ended up poisoning it, and then after a few more hits, I managed to get him down with my Box Boy, which I managed to level up with an experience share. And after that, I beat the gym leader, go off to the next town of Slateport. Finally! And I already battled all the trainers here, and I go to Team Aqua again, and this battle is super easy because I ended up learning Slash, and my work evolved, which is really nice, into a Sand Slash. After that, Team Aqua talked to us even more, and then we are on our way to the next gym. And we ended up running into our neighbor, which I know this is a pretty challenging battle, but with Slash and how high level we are compared to all the other Pokemon, it's pretty easy. On the Lumbri, we ended up using Leech Life because that's the only super effective move we have against him. Then I switched to Box Boy and use Magnitude, which it's one hit, it's super effective. And then we learned Self-Destruct, which I ended up ditching Mud Sport for because I wasn't going to use it anyway. Then we get to the next gym, which is an electric type gym. Before we can go in, we have to fight Wally first, which is a one hit and done, and then we're good. Then we've tried to battle the gym, but I used really crappy moves the first time, and I forget to use Magnitude, so I faint really fast. So when I try again, it goes a lot better. I use Slash on the Voltorb, and it goes in 2 hits. Then I use Slash on the Electrite, again, 2 hits. Well, 3 because he used a Super Potion again. And then I switched to Box Boy, which is what I named my Geodude. And I used Magnitude, which it gets him in 1 hit. And then I used it again and 1 hit again, and I go to level 25, which means I evolve into a Graveler. After that, I beat the gym, and then we go to the next route and get our 4th Pokemon, which is Unomal, which is a ground and fire type. And it took me a couple tries to get this because I kept running into other stuff, and then I managed to catch him and I name him Bagel. This is the name that I'm most proud of, and I really don't know why, but I just named him Bagel. After that, I go to the next gym leader, which is a fire type. The first time didn't go well because this Torkoal, even though I managed to poison him, he was super effective against mine and Kata. And then the second time I did it, which I only did this gym twice, it went super well because I just spam Magnitude over and over, and even when they used potions, I managed to get him. And then I learned Rollout, which I took away Tackle for. And the gym went super well. All I did was use my Box Boy and just use Magnitude. And the second try, I got it. And then, there we go. And then I get 2 more Pokemon, which is my Baltoy, which is a Psychic and a Ground type, which took me a few times because he kept self-destructing. And then my Trapinch, which is a Ground and Dragon type, which is going to be super helpful in our run for the Elite Four. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I can't wait to evolve it. Then we go to the 5th gym, which is our dad. This one was a challenge, I will say that. The Spinda, yeah, it was a bit of a problem, but I managed to use Magnitude and it was fine. Which Magnitude is my go-to, but it really didn't do that much damage, which really sucked, and you can tell that I have all my Pokemon, which is really, really nice. I have all 6, but I managed to poison him. I hoped that would work, which he just kept using hyper potions or some sort of potions over and over, which absolutely sucked. And then I kept using really low effective moves because I had no other choice. And then my Baltoy learned Ancient Power. After that, I keep Nincada out, and I just do the exact same strategy I kept doing, but I got put to sleep, and then I had to do my 2 Pokemon that I'm still trying to train up, which kind of sucks, and then they both get 1 shot, which sucks. But then we go back after we've trained up a lot more, use a lot of Magnitude with Bagel. I kept using Magnitude over and over, hope I get maybe a 10 or an 8, not like a 4. Well, I used this over and over, and then my Bagel died. And then I get Magnitude 9 luckily, and then Slacking comes out, and I get Yawnt, but I get Magnitude 10 before that, but he ends up healing himself. Which I don't switch it, I don't know why, but I cannot use items in battle, so I can't wake him up, but he ends up waking up, and I get Magnitude 9, but I still go down. Then when I take out work, I use 1 slash, and then I try to poison it with a Poison Sting, which takes a longer time than I wanted to, but eventually I get him poisoned, which is going to really help me. But then he gets me, but then I just take out my Nincada, and I don't even have to fight him. He just goes down because of poison, and then I beat my dad. After that, we get the good run from the fisherman, and then we can finally catch our 6 Pokemon. Yes, I know we have 6, but I'm going to take out my Nincada because it's not very good, and I'm going to replace it with a Barboach. I'm very sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. And I'm so glad that I got this on my first try because it took me forever to actually find one of these. So after that, I go on to the 6th gym, which is the Flying Type gym. And as you can see, Skarmory absolutely destroyed me in this battle. He kept using Aerial Ace and Steel Wing, and it's super effective against all my Pokemon. So whatever I did, it didn't really help. And then when Artillery came out, I only had 7 health left. So when I came back, I had a strategy. I used a lot of Mud Sport because it was super effective against flying types. So I managed to get the first Pokemon down pretty easy. And then the next Pokemon, I took out my Bagel, and then I used Ember because it's half grass type. Well, not Bagel, but you know what I mean. And then when Pelipper came out, it kept using, Protect, which absolutely sucks. But then I used a lot of Psych Beam, and I managed to get him to very low health, but I lost my Pokemon in the process. But I took out Work, and then after that I took out my Whiscash, which, by the way, evolved very fast because it evolves at level 30, and I caught it at level 30. And then when the Artillery came out, I managed to paralyze it. I used Dragon Breath, which really helped. But I managed to faint in the process. And then I managed to use Rock Throw and get him down pretty fast. And then there is the 6th gym done. After that, I go to the 7th gym, which is my least favorite gym. It's very hard in my opinion, and I cannot use Magnitude or anything because they're all levitating, and I cannot use it, and it will not affect any of them. So the only Pokemon that I have that it's not very effective against is a Claydol. Claydol is the only one that is not very affected by all this because he's a Psychic type. So this gym takes me so long. It's ridiculous how long this took. The only reason why I actually won this gym battle is out of pure luck. So I managed to use my Claydol, and I used a lot of Strength. And yes, I taught him Strength. And then I used my Whiscash, and I used Surf because Surf gets both of the Pokemon, which I absolutely love. And it is affected by Earthquake and Magnitude, which these Pokemon do have, but it's not as effective as it would be with my other Pokemon, which is super nice. And after this, my Whiscash sadly goes down, which absolutely sucks. And then I take out my Vibrava. And then I ended up using Strength and Crunch, and I hope this does some sort of damage on either one of these Pokemon, and it did a lot on the Solrock. It ended up fainting, and then it took out the Lunatone, and my Vibrava is sadly down as well. So I take out Bagel, and I really hope that he can get the job done, but then he faints too. So I take out Work, and then he dies, and I take out Box Boy. I do a rollout, and I manage to get him down with, Then we finish all the in-game stuff, and then we get to do our final gym battle, which is the Ice type. And Ground is super weak against Ice, so this did take a long time, and the Kingdra did not help. The Kingdra just kept using Ice Beam, which just hit super hard, and I managed to die the first time. Then on my last attempt, I took out Bagel, and it did not work. Then I used Earthquake, which was pretty effective. I got him down without any help. And then the Whiscash, I did the same thing, but then he healed himself, but I managed to get him down too. And then after that was a Silo. I did the same thing, had the health too. Then the Crawdot got me. Then it got me again. Then it got me again. And I kept using the same moves. And then after that was a Kingdra. And I saved my Flygon for this time and used Dragon Breath. And then I ended up paralyzing it, but then I was still down. But the paralyzing was super helpful, made it so that I was able to get it with only one Pokemon standing. And then I finally beat the last gym, and now I can go on to Victory Road, which I run into Wally, and I battle him for the last time, and he caught so many more Pokemon. The first one went down fine, second one went down fine, the third one went down, but took a bit of time, and Bagel went down, and then I took out Claydol, I think. Yes, I took down Claydol, and I used Psych Beam, but I ended up getting burned in the process. And he used a potion, so I end up going down as well. Then I take out Work and use Slash, and it works. And I switch to my Whiscash for this. And Rosalina, I use Earthquake, and she's down as well. And then the Gardevoir. This one, it's kind of, it was on and off. After I used Magnitude a few times, didn't really work. Used Psychic. This one, I thought I'd have to go back, and I thought I'd have to do this one multiple times. And then I took out Work, and since it was paralyzed, I was super worried but I managed to actually get him. I don't know how. Then I can do my final battle. The first Elite Four member was super easy. I managed to get him every single time that I did this, which was an unbelievable amount of times. I literally had to evolve my Whiscash into level 71. That's what ended up being at the very end of it, which is super insane. But Whiscash ended up being my savior for the Elite Four. My absolute savior. And I actually did have a strategy for this. I used Whiscash for most of it. I forgot to take out my Bagel here. That's really funny. But then I learned Hyper Beam. And I was very conflicted about this because I didn't know what to get rid of, because I thought it would be good with the Gyarados at the end, so I decided to take out Sand Attack for it. After that, the Absol came out, I used Earthquake, and there's the first Elite Four member done. Here's the second, and what I decided to do here is I used Surf, a lot of Surf, which it was pretty effective. It one-shot a few of her Pokemon, not all of them, and I went back and forth between Magnitude and Earthquake just so I didn't lose too much PP on Earthquake, because that was an issue I had with a couple other runs that I did with the Elite Four, because I ran out of ethers. So I just used Ice Beam and also Surf. I think I used them back and forth. And then came the third Elite Four member, which was Ice type, which I struggled with this the first few times I've tried this, because Ice is obviously super effective against Ground, but I managed to find a strategy, which I used Whiscash a lot, used Magnitude, then I switched to Bagel, and used Eruption, and because it's an Ice type, which I was able to one-shot a few of them. But when it came to Walrein, I figured that I was not able to beat him actually, so I had to use Eruption and completely destroy the Claydol, but I managed to get past it a lot easier with fewer casualties and not go back to the start. And then after this, I just kept going back and forth between the bagel and the wish cache with eruption and then earthquake, which brought my bagel to a level 60, and then came the 4th Elite 4 member, which is a dragon type, which I have Flygon, luckily, so I just kept using Dragon Claw, which I taught it with a TM, which almost one-shot everything that it came in its way, even the Flygon that came out, so I just used Dragon Claw over and over, and also Dragon Breath. I just used it over and over, and it was super effective. I did get paralyzed though, which was super scary when the Kingdra came out, because that means I was done. So I just used my Wish Cache again and used Ice Beam, but then used a full restore again, kept using the dance move, and then after that the Salamence came out, which is super effective when it comes to ice, so I managed to take him out in one hit. And now the champion. This took a long time and a lot of strategy, and the only reason why I got past this is from pure luck. So the first thing that came out was a Whale Lord. What I did here was I just used Earthquake over and over, which worked, and I didn't get any HP taken away. Then I took out my Claydol, and I have to explode with this one as well, because I have nothing that works with this Pokemon. I can't take it out any other way. I've tried so many methods. It sucked. Then the Tentacruel got taken out really quickly with my Wish Cache, and then another Wish Cache comes out, which I just use Earthquake over and over, and then it works. And then the Gyarados. The Gyarados I thought would be nice, but the first time it took out the Gyarados besides the final Pokemon, it used 4 full restores. 4. But then it just takes out my Flygon immediately, and I'm wondering, what do I take out now? So I tried Box Boy, and I tried to use Rock Throw, and it actually worked. And then this Pokemon is the one that scared me the most. But I got super lucky. I figured out what to do. I was so conflicted, as you can see, but I used Earthquake. A lot of Earthquake. So after I used this, I realized this takes out more health than I thought. It's probably because I'm level 70. And then I finally beat the champion. It took me a full day to battle the Elite 4 because it was so difficult, and now I finally beat the challenge. And thank you so much for watching. If there's any improvements, please let me know. This was my first challenge. I probably messed up some things here or there. This is really fun to do, but it was a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. But I had a fun time doing it, and if you have any suggestions on different challenges I can do, maybe a different game, or do this again but with a different type, I would love to do it. So if you like this video, please like and maybe subscribe. I'm not gonna force you, but if you do, that'd be nice. So I mean, you can see me suffer for your enjoyment. So see ya.